Hello all, welcome to my channel. On this Monday afternoon, it's 1:37 p.m. Today on my video, I just felt like it's still kind of cloudy. The sun's in and out, but it's kind of one of them days. Instead of just reading it to start off with by myself on my package that I told you all that I got Saturday, I did a video on it yesterday. I got the book The Keeper, and we're going to do some little reading on it. Are you all ready? For those who haven't received the book or can't afford it, and had to wait like I did, had to wait like at least over a month before I got it. And it's very nice. Keeper. It says magic always leaves a mark. I think that is a really good theme that Kim Chance, she's the author of this book, put up there. It brings out like the life of the cover. And we're going to read a little bit on it. Let's get ready. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Oh my gosh, it's Flux by Mendola, Dota Heights, Minnesota. And it says for Jim, of course. Oh, I just love the pages. It's actually where I can actually read it. The print is actually good. I mean, I don't know why she thought she felt so nervous. She's more happier with her second book. It's like the sequel to The Keeper. And I'd been honored. I'd be glad to hold my first book in my hand. I ain't gonna know how to act if I get that chance and one day it happens. But anyway, chapter 1 of The Keeper. The Dragon's Hoardie was as crowded as a Walmart on Black Friday. By a sheer stroke of luck, I managed to claim the last square inch of standing room left in the place. Wedged between a metal tack of colorful Amity novels and a life-size cardboard cutout of Captain America. I used my SAT prep book as a barrier between me and the throng of cosplayers and super nerds swarming the comic book store. It was a superhero Saturday, and the tiny shop was packed with every diehard fan within a 50-mile radius. A hazard of living in a small town, I guess, with so little to do in Brook, Georgia. The Hoardie's monthly meetup event was a deal as the San Diego's Comics Con. The pandemonium, I muttered as a two brightly colored spandex wearing individuals began a heated debate over which was better, Marvel or DC. Now, wild and nosy disorder uproar. I rolled my eyes and tried to tune out the noise. I needed to have 50 new vocabulary words memorized by the end of the night, and the chaos around me was making it difficult to concentrate. I cannot believe I let Maggie talk me into this. I groaned, burying my face deeper into the prep book. That girl owes me so big, like name her for me kind of big. I had my best friend standing a few feet away, talking, aiming immediately to a boy with sandy brown hair and glasses. He was wearing a black Star Wars t-shirt and a Newsies hat and looked a Pokemon loving type of a guy she usually gravitated toward. He was grinning and twisting a loose thread from a worn Batman's t-shirt around her finger. Her thick black curls bounced around her shoulders, almost in response to her enthusiasm, and her light brown cheeks were tinged with pink. She practically glowed. Oh, I said, turning to the cut toward Captain America. Look, nerd flirting at its best. I chuckled at my own joke before turning my attention back to the list of words. Superfluous adjective means additional or unnecessary. Unless, I squealed as a large, burly looking dude dressed like the Hulk bumped into me. sending my sap book flying and knocking me right into Captain America. The guy gave me a rather athenic grunt as I struggled to keep myself and the captain in the upright position. Sorry, he gruffed, handing me back my prep book. No worries, I said with a wave of my hand. He grunted again, then ambled toward his friends. A group of guys, all wearing various forms of tights and Avengers gear. I took it as my cue to get a little fresh air. Weaving in and out of the crowd, I paid little attention to the people around me. My goal, the wide double doors, was only a few steps away. Now, with thunder, hammer, and winged helmet blocked my path. His phony accent was as ridiculous as the rest of his costume. Yea, should stay a while. I can show thou how I work my hammers. He gave me a wide, toothy grin and jerked his head so that the rounded arc of his hair flipped back into place. I rolled my eyes, saved it. Thunder God, I don't date guys who are more hair obsessed than I am. Maybe next time. I moved to sidestepped him. Don't be like that. Thor stepped in front of me again, dropping the accent this time. I was looking for my own Jane Foster, darling, and I think she might be you. He winked at me. If that's supposed to be a panty dropper, then this guy is more clueless than I thought. I rolled my eyes and tried again to step around him, but he was quick, holding out his hammer to block my path. Clearly, Thor wasn't taking the hint. I looked past him, hoping to see Maggie or some other form of escape. I spied it standing a few feet away. A tall guy in a dark gray t-shirt leaned against the wall with his arms crossed. He wasn't talking to anyone, and he looked about as thrilled as I was to be stuck in the circus of spandex. It was worth a shot. Babe, I called over Thor's shoulder. There you are. I pushed past Thor and walked over to the guy. His eyes narrowed in confusion, and I gave him what I hoped was a pleading look. I've been looking for you. I pulled him off the wall and linked my arms to his. Then I turned back on Thor and smiled widely. Thor narrowed his eyes in suspicion, and my heart flickered with panic as the boy pulled his arm from mine. But then he snaked it around my shoulders and pulled me close. Sorry, baby, he said, his voice deeper than I expected. I got a little distracted by all the hair tossing. He looked pointedly at Thor and then started down at me, a crooked smile on his lips. This time my heart flip-flopped for a different reason. I turned back to Thor, a trumpet smirk on my face. He swung his hammer from one hand to the other, glared at me, and then stalked off. I quickly stepped out of the stranger's arms. Sorry about all that, I shrugged. Who knew Thor was such an arrogant asshole in real life? The boy in gray stared at me, his blue eyes bright with amusement. There was a faint streak of purple on his pale cheek, a bruise I hadn't noticed initially. I wanted to ask about it, and there was a strange urge flowing through my fingers to reach out and brush his cheek, but I stopped myself on both counts. What the hell, Styles? Your grip. It's kind of funny so far at the beginning of this chat soon. I'm well much alive. It must be all the hairspray affecting his brain, he said, his smile widened. My cheeks grew warm. So you a big comic book fan. I appreciate them, but big crowds like this, not really my scene. A friend of mine paid me $20 to drive him here tonight. Yeah, not really my scene either. I'm more of a small group kind of light reading. You can never be too prepared, I said, my cheeks blazing hotter. The test is in 2 days. I'm graduating early, and I have to get at least a 2200 to get into my top schools. The science programs are pretty competitive. Oh my God, could you sound like a bigger nerd? He nodded politely. That's pretty impressive. I've moved around a lot, I said with a shrug. Tons of sleepy little towns where nothing ever happens. I want to get out and see the world, you know. So many things to see and discover. Wait, stop, just stop. I wanted to smack myself. Of all my quirks, nervous word vomiting was definitely my least favorite. I think this really cool, he said. And then we stood there, staring awkwardly at each other for a moment as if neither of us knew what to say next. You ever get those moments in your stomach and on top of that you get tongue-tied? You talk about so much and then you just lose a train of thought. You don't know what to say next. I do that very often. I can relate to that. So thank you. I finally blurted out much louder than I meant to. Happy to help. He smiled, and that strange sensation washed over me again. It was like the cool underside of the pillow after a long day, or the way hot cocoa warms you from the inside out after you've been out in the cold for too long. There was something oddly familiar about him, but I couldn't quite pinpoint what it was. I'm sorry, but have we met before? I asked. His smile faltered and his eyes seemed to cloud over. No, I don't think so. He looked down at his feet, scuffing the tile with his shoe. When he looked back up again, however, his smile had returned. Right, I said. Well, I really appreciate your help. My name is Laney, by the way. I held out my hand. Nice to meet you, Laney. He took my hand in his. I'm Ty. Laney. I jumped as Maggie ran over and grabbed me by the arm, spinning me around in a circle. Guess what? She squealed. That guy I was talking to just asked me to go grab her back to where Ty had been standing. But the part of the wall he occupied was empty. I scanned the crowd, but there was a single stitch of gray in the sea of color. He was gone. I sighed and turned back to Maggie, who proceeded to tell me everybody's going to start liking, I believe, Ty. So she's meeting some friends. So far, what I'm reading this book is really him chance. I told him I'd have to take a rain check, of course, but it was so nice to be asked. I frowned. Wait, why didn't you say yes? I promised I'd quiz you on your words if you came with me, Maggie said with a shrug. What kind of best friend would I be if I bailed on you like that? And what kind of... Maggie narrowed her eyes at me. Are you sure? Because you, Laney Styles, are the true love of my life, and you come first. I grinned. I'm totally sure. I need to be home early tonight anyway. Go have fun. It's just so rare to find someone who actually understands that Gwen Stacy was Peter. You have to go. Maggie squealed again and threw her arms around me, hugging me tightly. You're the best. Have fun and text me bugging. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Well, I said hugging my SAT prep book to my chest. Guess it's just you and me then. I sighed again and made my way toward the door. Outside, the night air was crisp with a slight chill. Coats were usually unnecessary until the dead of the winter, a perk of living in the deep south, but October had brought with it some unseasonably cool temperatures. I wasn't complaining. It was nice to be able to walk outside for 10 minutes and not need a shower after. The parking lot was less chaotic than inside the shop, but there were still dozens of people milling about. I dodged around a lightsaber fight in a very serious-looking game of Magic. The gathering and made my way toward the sidewalk. My beat-up red Ford Escort was parked around the corner a few blocks down the street. Laney. I jumped at the sound of my name and turned around. Laney. I jumped at my name and turned around. There was a family with two small children standing a few paces away and a group of middle school age boys, but no one I recognized. I looked around and shrugged and kept walking. Laney. This time the melodic yet pleading voice was so close in, it was as if someone were whispering in my ear. I shrieked a little and I whirled around. Maggie. There was no sign of her. A massive case of Heebie-jeebies pricked at my spine, but I shook it off, squeezing my SAT prep book a little tighter to my chest. There was a round of loud shouting as the light starting to have an adverse effect on my brain. Adverse, I muttered, turning back toward the street, preventing success or development, harmful and favorable. A tall figure emerged from the shadows of the building. She stood apart from the crowd, her long skirt rustling around her legs like a bell in the breeze. I stared at her. Her costume wasn't one I'd seen before. She looked like she stepped off the page of a history book instead of a comic. There was something about her that held my attention. It was as if an invisible tether was linking us together. I couldn't look away. As she stepped forward into a pool of light from one of the parking lot streetlights, years, with long dark hair and hollow sunken eyes. But it wasn't her face that sent my heart into my feet. Her dress and long green overcoat were stained crimson with blood. She stood there staring at me with sad eyes. I stumbled backward, dropping my SAT book on my foot in the process. Are you okay? The mother of the small children was staring at me, her eyebrows knitted together. I turned and pointed toward the shadows. I broke off. There was no one there. Sweetheart, are you sure you're okay? The mother's wide eyes searched my face. You look like you've seen a ghost. My eyes darted around the parking lot, but there was no blood, no body, no indication I'd seen anything at all. Sorry, I managed to squeak. I thought I saw something. I didn't bother with further explanation. I ducked my head, made a beeline for the sidewalk, my knees wobbled as I half ran to my car. Blood pounded in my ears, and a thick layer of goosebumps covered my skin. Just think of something else, anything else. My brain was muddled, but immediately began supplying me with the words I had been cramming to my head for weeks. Disbelief over something unexpected. Trepidations and now a feeling of Langley. The scream roared to life in my ears, and I took off running. I jammed my hand into my pocket for my keys and collided with the driver's side door. I fumbled for the right key, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold on to them. I forced the key into the lock, my hand wrapped around the door handle, pulling it open, but then I stopped. The dim light from the street lamp was casting just enough glow to see hazy reflections in the window. The outline of my head and shoulders were familiar enough, but something was moving behind me. What do y'all think is going on? Do you think it's actually a shadow? What you think is moving behind her? And this is last chapter 1, and it starts chapter 2. We'll just read it in like little sections. It might not be every day. I just chose this day because I just got this book Saturday. I'm excited. So far, this book is really great. I squeezed my eyes shut. It's not real. Just a really good costume. An early Halloween prank, even. You're exhausted and your brain is playing tricks on you. It's not real. I turned around and opened my eyes. The bloody woman was standing right in front of me. Her deep green eyes, the same color as the ornate, pulsating stone that hung from her neck, burned into mine. Something inside me crumbled like a wall that I'd never known was standing. Every cell in my body, the magnetism between us crackled through my veins. I opened my mouth, but before I had the chance to scream, her icy hand shot out and gripped my arm above the elbow. The moment our skin touched, a wave of electric energy shot up my arm and surged through my body. I cried out as a blistering light exploded before my eyes. My limbs quaked, and the heat intensified, engulfing me in a fire that threatened to incinerate me from the inside out. I fell to the asphalt, collapsing against the inferno, raging beneath my skin. The wave of electricity intensified with each beat of my heart. I cried out again. Then, as quickly as it had begun, so that was all of reading The Keeper by Kim on chapter 1. We're going to be on chapter 2 next. Don't know what day I'll decide to read it. But yeah, this is a great book so far. I thought about reading on chapter 2, but it might make the video long. It's already 22 minutes and 56 seconds. So this was part of introduction, reading the story on The Keeper by Kim Chance. I know her from actually YouTube because she is a YouTuber. She's an author, blogger. She was a once English teacher, so she knows all about how to correct things and fix things. And this was her very, I think, first book she wrote. She has I think it's the same type style. And then I'll start on The Seeker. So if you all like what I read so far at The Keeper chapter 1, feel free to hit the like button. If you have any comments about this book and about the author, Kim Chance, feel free to comment below. You've seen enough videos and you want to see more to come. To see what my video is about, feel free to subscribe my channel. And thank you very much. And my opinion, a review, as me being a reviewer of this book, is awesome so far. You need to order you a copy as soon as possible. Again, have a great Monday.